I'm not gonna lie. I had to start this recording. I had to just start ranting about this shit because I'm not gonna lie to you. Rap is exciting right now. Rap. This is like a once in a lifetime type of shit. Like if you haven't heard, Drake and Kendrick are beefing. No, Drake is beefing with everybody, dog. It's fucking crazy. Like I've been excited about this all day. Like it's crazy because Drake put up this fucking song called Push Ups, and I'm like, this is kind of interesting because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I mean, of course, rap beefs can go a bunch of ways. Usually, in the way where it's one person that's very obviously in the lead, and it just gets like someone gets bodied, like the Machine Gun Kelly versus Eminem. Like, I don't think anyone was rooting for Machine Gun Kelly, but there's some, and it could go the other way where it's like kind of a no contest, like uh like Big E versus Tupac, but there's a lot of ones that just give us good tracks. Like the Jay Z versus Nas one, and there's a bunch of other ones. But Drake is pretty much the CEO of beef. Like he literally, I don't think there's a single moment after 2010 where Drake has not been in beef with somebody. Like he's pretty much. I don't think. I think beef. I don't think there's. I can't think of a person he hasn't beef with, unless they just don't. I get Chance. I remember there was this one line about Chance. I don't know that dude. Like that was in one of the songs on I don't know what it's called. What the fuck it's called? But dog, this shit is exciting. This shit is exciting because I listened to this track. Right. Drop and give me 50, and not gonna lie, he cooked, and that beat is insane. Like Drake is on his villainous shit. Drake is on his straight handsome Jack shit. I'm saying this for real. Everyone's saying he's Thanos. No, he's handsome Jack. Because I was saying this when I saw that Anita Max Win clip. Like, bro, Drake is goofy. Drake is goofy as fuck. But not gonna lie, when you get to the end game, when you get to the end of the story, like he kind of gets menacing. I mean, he actually pulled out some mean ass bars for this one. He was pissed. And I mean, like, I don't know if like yeah, he pulled out some mean bars for this one. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. It's actually insane. Like because I have the boat. Of course, Kendrick Lamar is pretty much I'm ready for Kendrick Lamar here because To Pimp a Butterfly was my top one album. To Pimp a Butterfly was my top one album easily. Like for like years upon years upon years. Like yeah, easily my favorite album of all time, no contest. And I'm revisiting it now, and I'm like, I still know why I think that. I still think it's one of the best albums ever made. Easy 9, perhaps still a 10. I think if I listen to it once again from front to back, and I start crying by that part with by For Sale, and again by Mortal Man when that ends. Yeah, I think that's gonna go back to a 10. But I've been listening to a lot of It's You Reading It's Too Late, and I'm like, Drake hasn't rapped like this before or since. Like the way he was rapping on tracks like Used To and fucking Six God and like I don't think that when Drake says he's got a lot of enemies, back then I didn't believe him. And honestly, it's kind of his fault he's got a lot of enemies now because he's just sneak dissing fucking everybody, right? Everybody. But not gonna lie, there are some lines, and if you're reading this, where I'm like, you know what? That I'm like looking back and I'm like, it's kind of believable. It's kind of believable that he's actually got enemies. He's actually like I'm not rooting for Drake, but I it's an interesting battle now, because I thought it'd be a wash. Like, oh yeah, like especially after that Cole verse kind of flopped like hard. He took it down. It flopped that hard. Like you could at least cut the instrumental up. Shit. Like after that shit happened, like I didn't know where this was gonna go. But it's a very exciting right now because like I love that album. I love If You're Reading This Too Late. It's probably my favorite Drake album, as in it's probably the only one I listen to like as an album. I guess Her Loss is a pretty good like album experience. And I don't know. I like the EP version of For All the Dogs, where it's like the extra tracks at the end with the boom bap type shit. If Drake just took all the tracks where he kind of actually raps, like First Person Shooter, 8 a.m. in Charlotte, pretty much the end of the at the EP that he put out, and also I guess like one or two tracks. I kind of I kind of felt like I kind of like that Tizo touchdown track. Like he could have made a very solid album, but all of his albums are way too bloated. I don't know. I never could get into like the earlier stuff. He I don't know. The Time to Be Alive is actually pretty good, and More Life like I kind of underrated actually. I'm not gonna lie to you, but Drake is the type of artist to make like three insanely good tracks per album, and then those will carry the entire album. Like for certified, I can't say the joke. Certified Lover Boy, Champagne Poetry, Poppy's Home, No Friends in the Industry, uh, yeah, I guess but the Rick Ross track kind of looks weird in retrospect. Yeah, but it's Heartbreak, but that's not him at all. So I don't know. Like the rest of them are like I could take or leave. I'm like, oh, whatever. Kind of just boring. I'm not, but that's an album I just can't listen to front to back, dog. That shit is boring as hell. But those tracks are insanely good, right? Insanely good, infinitely re-listenable, very catchy, very hard. Like I wish he could bring that entire thing to an entire album because I'd like that'd be that's why I'm saying like, if you're reading this is too late. I love that album. I don't think there's a single bad track on here. I'm kind of partial to like you know like the later half of the album is not as good, but honestly, it's a pretty solid album. Solid 8 out of 10. And the way I listen to it, like however many times I play this shit front to back, it's a very re-listenable album. It's a very easy to listen to album. That's the thing about it. So there's that, and the fact that like but but the thing about it, Drake is just like the lost potential. So I'm like, it's like clearly making like catchy songs goes over any kind of rap thing, and I'm like, okay, whatever, because let's Childish Gambino, for instance, chose like singing over rapping, right? And I'm like, first of all, I think in Childish Gambino's case, it kind of worked out well for him because he has the very good singing chops. I guess not a perfect, but pretty solid singing chops. I think Drake's singing is not as good. It's kind of I think my issue is that a lot of artists go for like vibey tracks, and you just gotta have engage me. There's not a lot of the tracks. It's like, oh man, there's not much even there to work with. You know what I mean? But whatever. Like Scorpion. I mean, there's some good beats on there, but man, that shit is way too long. An hour and 30 minutes is absurd for an album of, especially a Drake album, and nah. And so anyway, but yeah, so Drake is an interesting case, and obviously we all know Kendrick Lamar. I mean, Kendrick Lamar, pretty much the most celebrated rapper. There's a good argument for all time. Honestly, I don't think anyone has had as much critical acclaim relative to the popularity as Kendrick Lamar, and and has a substantial I guess Jay-Z maybe, but like you have to have a substantial catalog because anyone who has that kind of acclaim is either died early on or they quote unquote fell off over time, fell off. I think less is more in terms of Kendrick Lamar discography. Like I honestly I haven't listened to overly dedicated front to back, have I? I think I listened to I don't remember. But that's kind of a mixtape anyway. But yeah, Section 80, yep. Good Kid, Mad City, of course. Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled Master, damn, yeah, we all know. I don't think the Black Panther soundtrack counts, but even that one's pretty good. Like he just doesn't miss, right? So of course, so those are our two contestants here, and of course there are people on the sidelines. I call them on the sidelines because we extras in this thing. There's secondary characters like Metro Boomin. He brought the team together. He assembled the Avengers, right? Rick Ross. I was expecting much from Rick Ross either way. Like he put out something. It's an okay track. I don't know. I wasn't. I like Rick Ross's features. I like his beats. Sometimes he knows how to choose beats. I give him that, and also he knows his tone. I think he knows where his tone works. I respect Rick Ross and kind of knowing that kind of thing. There's also like ASAP Rocky, which I kind of want to know how that would go because ASAP Rocky's not a rapper's rapper usually. He can rap. He can rap very well, but he's not the person that like goes and fucking goes bar for bar for bar. He's mostly the guy who makes really interesting songs and palettes and shit, and a lot of probably the best some of the best rapper like most popular rapper who mixes a lot of different other genres. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a tough thing, but yeah, he's like has sampled Tame Impala or whatever. He's had people sample Tame Impala for him. So yeah, there's also um, geez, I'm trying to remember like everyone Drake dissed. It's kind of hard to keep it all together. Uh, like yeah, have to go look up an article breaking down all of Drake's shots at Kendrick, and it's an whole entire page. Breaking down all of Drake's disses, 12 great Drake disses. Oh yeah, yeah. So, oh yeah, the weekend. I mean, I don't know why he's beefing with the weekend, but okay. Tyga, the whole Meek Mill thing. So yeah, of course. So yeah, there's a lot of people Drake diss, but yeah, the main thing for historical value is like the Meek Mill diss and the Pusha T diss. Right now, the Meek Mill one was like went back and forth, and it kind of ended up with them kind of just getting kind of getting along afterwards. I think Meek Mill kind of I don't know. I don't think it always went well for him, but I always respect Meek Mill because Knowledge samples them in his cool mixtapes. Other than that, I didn't really know Meek Mill stuff that much. I do know Dreams and Nightmares. I do know Dreams and Nightmares. Jesus Christ. Um, and there's also the fact that like you know, the whole Pusha T thing. My God, that was, I guess, catastrophic is a good word. Yeah, absolutely catastrophic for Drake, no question. Because I've never seen, honestly, that is, yeah, I've never seen someone get eviscerated that hard. Absolutely, no, dude. Like, my thing about him is that's how I know he's a handsome jackass villain because he bounced back from that. Let me tell you the sheer if you don't remember the sheer extent of the Pusha T beef is that Drake was sending shots at Pusha and Push King Push, and then Push responded back on infrared, and then Drake shots at Duppy Freestyle, and everyone was like, oh shit, that's a pretty good track, and then gave it a little while. I think it was week or two, and then Push came out with this insane track, the fucking life changing track called Story of Adidon, which had the cover art with Drake in blackface. That's already pretty much killer. If it was any other artist, that'd be a killer. That's it. Like it'd be like game over. There's the fact of that he in this track, Push literally like went through his family history, tried to poke at every single like insecurity he had. Literally revealed he had a kid. No one knew he had a kid. Like he did everything possible, and he said he had this was a warning. This was a warning shot. I do not want to imagine the type of shit he knows about him now. Like if he had all that shit, if the low ball was, oh, you have a secret child, and then he made him raise a child now. Like if you look in the videos for all the dogs, Adonis is like on the shit, like so now that he publicly has a child, like I don't know what he had in the back pocket. We might see that later come into play, which is terrifying. Cause I mean, I don't know what would happen. I genuinely don't know. So there's that, and I'm like the most catastrophic thing that ever happened. And again, he got cooked so bad they had to do a press release. And so there's that. So, and then the Kendrick Lamar thing goes back and forth from like 2012, from like 2010, basically. It goes back and forth. They feature in each other's albums, and then they, have a beef, and the whole Control verse, and then the Control verse changes fucking everything. And then Drake is really offended about the Control verse, despite the fact that like he got called out with everyone else, and everyone else was pretty chill about it. ASAP Rocky, Drake, like nah. And ASAP Rocky's working with Kendrick right now to defeat the villainous Drake. So I don't know why he got specifically super offended by it, right? But there's that, and there's also like they went back and forth for years upon years. I mean, if you heard about that Element, the original version of Element that got leaked, like he called him out straight up, and he's like he sheathed back his sword. He's like, not now, later. I'll keep this for later. And I'm sure Drake heard that leak, and then he wanted to start up the beef again, or like the whole and then like the whole thing. I don't know. There's like a lot. There's a lot to go through. There's a lot of beef to go through. I don't know. There's a lot. And Future, yeah, Future. I forgot Future was involved. Um, yeah, he absolutely. There's a lot of just like a lot of back and forth. So like now this is like all this happening, right? And this is I'm sure this is before Kendrick responds, and I want to see like because the thing about the Drake beef right now, the Drake beef. Think about Drake right now and what happened last time. The thing that made Drake get fucking eviscerated, the one line that everyone points to and cites is the one thing that changed his entire life is when he mentioned Pusha T's wife, and and everyone was like, so that and he did that again with a kind of like subliminal, and this is how I know he's villainous. Because he's willing to do the same thing twice. He's willing to poke the bear. I gotta admit, he is straight on some villainous shit to try to poke the bear again. Because I'm like, if it was me, first of all, I wouldn't get in the beef in the first place. But if it was me, I would not poke that bear again. I learned my lesson the first time. But honestly, that's how you know he's on some villainous shit. That's how I know this is a competitive sport. Because he's willing to go for again. Because I'm like this fucking verse, you understand? This shit was hot. This shit was fire. He was going in. Like you could tell he spent an entire fucking like week writing this shit. And then the fucking Metro Boomin shut the fuck up and put some drums on a beat. I'm like, damn. that was absolutely crazy. I was like, damn, he had to call him out like that. And I'm like, and everyone's like, I mean, what else is he gonna do? He's a producer, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, genuinely, what else is he gonna do? I have no idea. Like, everyone's saying the streets are saying Morse code type beats, Morse code. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really want Metro Boomin to have a verse. I mean, it's gonna be very hard for him to catch up with like Kendrick Lamar and Drake at their peaks, peak anger, peak performance, peak polish, because it's competition, right? But I really kind of want that to happen because I think it'd be so funny. I think it'd be hilarious if Metro Boomin of all people had the best verse of all this shit. But aside from that, like no, he's on a straight villainous shit. It literally is like 20 people against one. And I think it's hilarious how it's going. I think it's absolutely insane. I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? And it's like I feel kind of bad for. It's like the Handsome Jack. I feel kind of bad for him if he didn't cause this himself. If he didn't like cultivate this villainous ass persona this entire time. And it's entertaining. That's the Handsome Jack thing. It's entertaining, but do you think and he's rich just like Handsome Jack? I don't know. You think Butt Stallion? But I played Borderlands 2 back in the day. All right. Great game, solid game. So, by the way, Borderlands 2, if you get it for cheap and you have like a bunch of friends that play it, like that was a peak gameplay experience. I think it's I'm glad. I think they shut down the servers for that temporarily, but they kind of got it back because they removed the DRM or whatever related to the servers. I don't remember, but yeah. Aside from that, like no, that was insane, and I really. The beat is insane too. I'm listening to it now. The beat is insane. I that's just crazy. And the way it like builds up to, it makes it. The way the beat builds up reminds me of like a musical where like the villain is like starting to like it's like a fucking Disney musical for real. Nah, this beat is insane. This beat is so hard. But again, it sounds hard now, but I absolutely know what's coming up. Because it's Kendrick Lamar. There is literally I don't think there's this would honestly be a more like a scarier fight if it was anyone else. Like if it was Drake versus like J. Cole, J. Fold. Don't dog. folding clothes, but like folding. Nah. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it. But essentially, folding clothes, folding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cole. I apologize. I like the off season. I like the off season. But yeah, if it was those two fighting, I'd be like, that's really close. I don't know. Maybe even J Cole's losing that. But if it's Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, I'm like, that's good. I know it's gonna be tough, but he definitely pull out the win. Because again, Kendrick Lamar made To Pimp a Butterfly. If he doesn't make a catchier song or a song with better bars, he at least make a more interesting song. But I don't know. Honestly, like, bar for bar, I think it's like, I don't know. It's kind of closer than you think, really, because you know, ghostwriters or not, Drake has some insane bars on his sleeve. You know, I gotta say that, especially that last verse he put out. Like, yeah, like he doesn't use it very often because he's never had to. Because, you know, why would he have to? Literally, why would he have to? Because in what case would Drake have to use any of his, like, rapping talents? You know, why would he? Like, it literally is just too much effort for no reason. Like, honestly, the fact that we even have, like, you know, like, it's the same thing with it. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, the whole thing with the more resources you have doesn't mean the better your stuff is, of course. You know, but that's just saying. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I just think it's very interesting what's happening right now. You know, Metro shut up and make drums. That's crazy. Oh man, I don't know. I just think it's very exciting right now, and I just want to see, cause I know that I'm anticipating. I'm deeply anticipating that Kendrick Lamar verse. Cause I know it's gonna have some insane shit. Like, honestly, like, I don't know, like, any way this could go, but once he drops that shit, it's gonna be like, once he either drops, or even if he doesn't drop anything. If he doesn't drop anything, then, like, it'd be the bad ending. Like, you know, like Thanos rules the world and shit. Like the fucking Avengers, whatever, Avengers Endgame, but like the beginning or the end of Avengers Infinity War. I don't really watch that much Marvel shit. I'm just saying that um it's a good, like a, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a comparison. But yeah, essentially that I don't know. I just think it's very exciting because it's like, it's like I'm getting the thing where it's like, oh shit, two cakes. Like, I'm getting both rappers, like, Kendrick Lamar, obviously one of my favorite rappers, musicians, artists of all time. Not maybe less than the like less than Tyler Creator, like in the personality space, but at least in the output, the curation of his art, I very much respect his output. I mean, obviously it's Kendrick Lamar. I'm a music nerd. It's really no question. But Drake on a good day, I gotta say, is, solid, amazing, pretty amazing stuff. Drake on a good day, Drake on the best days. I think, you know, I think that we, like, the fact that we even got one album of him on the best days is actually, kind of great, because like, given the way the whole thing happened, I'm like, there probably was really no reason to, like, the fact that, like, because If You're Reading This Too Late was a mixtape technically, so, but I don't know, I just, like, I wish I had a conclusion, but this is on a second channel, so I just wanted to rant about, like, this is interesting what's going on right now. I didn't really have a thing. I didn't really have a I didn't really have a I didn't have a conclusion. I just think it's really cool. I think it's really cool what's happening in rap right now. I just really want to say, like, Drake is on his villainous shit, and then he's like Handsome Jack, because I thought about, I thought of it, and I thought about it, and I thought he was, like, it was very interesting. I thought it was very interesting comparison. Um and so, but yeah, I really, yeah, just basically, essentially, Drake is on his villainous shit. He's like 20 against one people, Thanos type shit. He's actually responding back and holding his own, and we're waiting for our fearless heroes to go and defeat the big bad villain. And he's, like, still entertaining type villain, like, kind of funny. Like, oh, I'd expect him to actually go hard, but whenever he's like, whenever business needs to be done, he actually, like, he locks in and gets serious. Like, the Handsome Jack shit. That's the whole thing with the Handsome Jack. So that's why I think I think that is that way. But Yeah, I just wanted to say that because I just thought it was very interesting. All right, bye.